Thousand Year Door for the Nintendo GameCube. This has been the biggest project thus far for this year. It has taken me about 3 weeks to fully beat this game. It was about a 30-hour playthrough, which was actually a lot less than I was expecting going in. Granted, I didn't do every side quest. There was a lot I left undone. But as far as the main game and the few bits of side pieces that I did do, what did I think? What was my thought process? Well, if you want to see as it ticks through my little brain, you can watch my playthroughs on twitch.tv/SimiIndian. But as I've sat here and slept on it, collected my thoughts, where do I stand with this game? Here's the thing. I think this game is extraordinary. I think this game's story is absolutely fantastic. I think the characters, the dialogue, the world building, everything that is put into this game, you can feel like heart and soul was put into this game. And maybe that's just so obvious because of the fact that Paper Mario games nowadays are so soulless, and it's so easy to see that these are just churned out at a rate to make money, and there's not a lot of effort put in anymore, or so it seems. But this game, Thousand Year Door, which had been overhyped. I mean, this game had been hyped up for so long for me. It's been 18 years since it came out, and I gotta admit, I loved it. I mean, even the parts that were frustrating were still fun. I mean, grinding is never really fun in any classic RPG. I think that's always the most tedious and worst part. It's certainly the part of old Final Fantasy games that I hate the most, is having to do that grind. It just is mind-numbing. It's tedious, it's annoying. But Thousand Year Door, I never felt like I was really pressured to do it. Even in the very end, when I was a little worried I was under-leveled for the final chapter, I still never really needed to push through that grind. I mean, sometimes, you have to tackle enemies that you might not want to because there's just so many of them, but I always felt like it paid off in the end. The only real negatives I could say about the game are that I felt like there were definitely some chapters that weren't as intriguing as others. There's 8 main chapters in the game, and I would say out of those 8, maybe 5 or 6 of them are like really strong, and a couple are just okay. That kind of comes with the territory. So every chapter is completely individual in the sense that it introduces new characters and has a new background in which it takes place in. So for them to have done that for 8 different chapters, I mean, obviously that's pretty awesome. And I'm not even saying it in a sense of being surprised, because obviously, like I said, this game was hyped up for so long as the best Mario RPG of all time, and the goose is cooked in the sense of, I don't know what that means, but I do know that it's still out there. The jury is not final on what is the best Mario RPG, and I still have an incredible soft spot for Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. So it's tough to say which is the objectively better game. That's always going to be tough. But I do think Thousand Year Door was an absolute fun ride. I never felt like I was bored. I was never tired, which is easy to do in an RPG, a 30-hour RPG, a 40-hour RPG. It just tends to happen where you kind of lose interest in what's going on. And I never really felt that way with this game. I think it really lived up to the hype. It was also a lot of fun playing on Twitch with my friends, kind of doing the voices of all the characters, which added another element to it. So maybe that's a little bit of an extra positive that the game, didn't necessarily have going into it, but made for a fun experience overall. I don't know. I feel like, I kind of felt like I had a lot to say about this game, but the more I think about it, the more it's just like, you know what? I'm glad I got to finally play this game. And that's kind of why I'm so glad I took part in this challenge, was to give myself the opportunity to play games that I maybe wouldn't normally make time for. So I really enjoyed myself. I'm glad I got around to this. And now we're going to get back to a little bit more of a regular schedule with uploads and games. They're not all going to be really short. I don't really have many of those left, but it should be back to its somewhat regular basis until we crack down on the big one. I guess I'll announce it here. Number 40 is going to be the last. I was going to say the next, but really it's the last major hurdle, the last major challenge, and that will be Dark Souls, which I have never played before. So it's the countdown to game 40, the countdown to Dark Souls. I'll see you guys in the next one.